Come and dream with me.
Hello and welcome to What Do You Want to Watch, the Explosion of Oak's premier media podcast. Every week we get together and talk about movies, TV, and online content to help to answer the question, are you ready for December, the month in which we all try and catch up on everything in our backlog before the end of the year? No, we're not ready. We never will be. I'm your host, Ashley Obley. Joining me today, Dylan Blight.
Yes. How do we do that? Because I don't know, unless I start watching 2 movies at a time on 2 screens.
Yeah, it's impossible. Just face it. The facts, you're not going to watch everything. On today's episode, we'll be talking about what's in our watch history. We'll be talking about what's in our watch history, going over some film news, giving this week's top 3, and giving some thumbs to trailers. I will kick things off with returns to Fish Fingers and Custard, our Doctor Who podcast, with the release of the new Doctor Who 60th anniversary special, and it's now on Disney Plus, with the return of David Tennant and Catherine Tate as a Doctor and Donna Noble. So you can check out our full breakdown of that episode over at Fish Fingers and Custard. But Dylan, what are your thoughts on this new era of Doctor Who so far?
Really good. Really keen. Can't wait to watch more. David Tennant's great. Catherine Tate's great. Who knew it? Oh, wait, we did know it. They're back. Russell T Davies, who knew he's good at this show? Oh, wait, we did know that. He's back.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good time. It's fun. It's good to have David Tennant back. He's very enjoyable in this kind of a role. And Catherine Tate has a really good performance here as well, and as kind of as Nemiac, I guess. Is something I didn't necessarily ask on that podcast. Is this a good jumping in point?
Yeah, why not? Based on this episode, I think it's fine.
Okay. I think there is some like heavy hand holding at the start of the episode where they pretty much explain any backstory that you need. So I mean, you'll be fine if you want to jump in here, but is it the best
I don't
jumping
think
in
it's
point?
as good as a jumping in point as the first episode of New Who.
Yeah. Or even, I would even put it under Matt Smith's first episode. I think that's a great jumping on point.
Or Matt Smith's first episode, yeah. It's like this. I would say if you jump in the first episode, you've got your like first 2 Doctors there, and then you could jump in at the start of Matt Smith's period through to probably Peter Capaldi's area, and then you could watch the last couple seasons on their own, but you know they're pretty meh. But yeah, that would be the I guess where I'd break down is what works. Yeah.
So yeah. If you're excited for Doctor Who, check out Fish Fingers and Custards. Links in the show notes below. So we both went out and watched the big new Ridley Scott movie that's set to appear on Apple TV Plus in some time in the future, but it's in cinemas now. Napoleon, a massive historical epic following Napoleon Bonaparte during his military career. Of course, from his rise from soldier to becoming Emperor of France. Dylan, what do you think of Napoleon? I guess, how much do you know about Napoleon going into this? Only thing I really knew, he's short. He wears a hat, and something happened at Waterloo.
Yeah, I would say I knew the general life beats that have been covered in other movies, games, TV shows, like like stuff that goes around his time but never starred him, sort of thing. I've like got a general idea of Napoleon history, and obviously highly talked about as like such a military mind or whatever, like tactician. So, so this movie has one of the greatest lines of all time, which is, "You think you're so great just because you have boats." Which is going to take me a while to get over because my whole cinema fucking laughed. And I don't know if it's meant to be funny. But it is fucking one of the funniest sequences. One of the funniest deliveries I think I've seen all year. So, it's got that going for it. Outside of that, I think this is a pretty bad movie. I think the biggest problem with this movie is that as good as the uh action sequences are. Like there's obviously when the battles happen, they're very well done. Ridley Scott knows
Yeah.
how to direct an epic set piece. In particular the one where they're on the ice and shit, like that's really well done. um Outside of that, the fact that just because they try and like blast through his entire life, it just feels like you're jumping from one point to another, and it just the whole movie just gives you whiplash because you're like, his brother's here now, his brother's gone. At one point there was a big thing about a son, and then he gets a son. Now his son fucking is never mentioned. You never see that son again, and fucking it's just like it's just events and stuff happening. I also think that Joaquin Phoenix is not good for this role. I don't like, he gives nothing to it, which I don't know if that was the point. Maybe it was, but he's given me nothing. He's given me absolutely nothing. Vanessa Kirby's great, but highly underutilized or gets nothing, again, just because of the script problems. Yeah, so I think at 2.5 hours, this is not a good movie. Maybe there's a better version of this, and Ridley Scott's apparently got a 4-hour version coming to Apple TV. I don't know if I could be bothered based on not liking this.
Not
to
unless
do that.
reviews and stuff come out that
Yeah.
say it's a vast
Fixes
improvement.
it, yeah. So maybe that can fix my problems. And if people say that, then maybe I'll give it a go. But yeah, I just think for what they were trying to do here, which was just cover such an epic span of time and give so much time to the battles and no time to the people, but apparently make the movie on the people are supposed to be focused. I'm like, well, I don't know. This is just much better this would have been better as like a mini series or some shit, I feel.
Yeah, I did not have a great time in this as well. I feel like it's 2.5 hours. It feels like it was longer than Killers of the Flower Moon. Like that last chunk of the film is like such a drag. I was like very much fatigued by the end of the movie.
There's a difference between an entertaining long movie and a
entertaining, slightly long movie.
Yeah.
Also, I will again, although it felt like it was longer than 3 hours, is actually not almost 3 hours. It's 2 hours and 38 minutes. That is not almost 3 hours. But that, that's just my slight on reporting. Yeah, Vanessa Kirby, I think, is really great in this. Like you said, kind of underutilized, but also interesting that pretty much Ridley Scott's take on Napoleon is he's kind of a simp for this woman. This entire thing, super obsessed, and like it's interesting. Like people have been saying, like Ridley Scott has been trying to portray Napoleon as kind of a loser, and I don't think it's that far of a stretch to say that's kind of how it comes across. Like,
Yep.
I'm sure there's there's certain people you could compare him to in current day, who had a lot of power and think they're much better than they actually are, and have a devoted fan base that he's clearly have some sort of brainwashing over, and is very obsessed what people think of him and that kind of thing. I think that you could make that comparison very easily, and then unable to fulfill the same achievements of his younger years or whatever. But yeah, I think you come for the battle sequences. I think they're really fantastic, especially the first one where they're taking out like a French English
Like
base or something.
garrison or
Garrison.
something.
It's hard to keep track. Like I know like dates and stuff keep popping up
That's
every
the
now and
problem
then.
with this movie. It's just that's what I'm saying.
I feel like I needed to read a biography before going to watch this movie or something
Yeah.
like that.
They put character names up and they're like, this is this person, but then you don't see him again anyway. Or like
it's like they're in. It's like, okay, like anybody who isn't a historian wouldn't have really cared who that person was in the context. I mean, this movie opens with the beheading of Maria Antoinette. So,
but people know who Maria
Antoinette
is. Like,
yeah, yeah. I mean, there's that. I will say, I think there might be the most gruesome horse killing I've ever seen in a film in this.
Yeah, he gets blown up, eh?
He takes a cannonball straight to the chest, which looked super impressive and super
like
grisly. And like, man, yeah. Joaquin Phoenix took that fall like a champ, and kind of bumbles his way through the rest of the movie. But yeah, I mean, visually it looks really good. Like they built a ton of really good sets, and like costumes look fantastic, but the actual meat of the story is just kind of bland. Uh, you know, but yeah, I mean it's interesting. It's cool that Ridley Scott was able to make this movie that they don't really kind of make anymore, but is definitely not one of his best works by any stretch of the imagination. Um, and I would recommend just waiting until it comes to Apple TV Plus, even though it looks cool on the big screen. I don't know if it's worth rushing out to the cinema to go watch this. So yeah, Napoleon. It's a fine movie, you know. It again, it's also very weird. Like there's, yeah, it's just an odd movie. Dylan, you've watched Oppenheimer on your TV at home, just like Christopher Nolan intended it to be. How was that experience?
Not as good as the cinema, but still a very good movie.
Yeah,
Yep.
you happy with the Blu-ray transfer and everything?
Special features to watch and stuff like that. Looks very good in 4K. Sounds very good. Fucking sounds like your speakers are going to explode. You know, so it's apparently sold out in America at the moment. So people saying they can't find it.
That's incredible. You know, turns out people want physical releases of stuff.
And I'm already going to predict this movie will be the number one on my most watched movies because two times version of this movie. I've now said 6 hours this year watching it. So Tractor's going to have this as number one, I reckon. Surely.
Yeah, surely. I can't imagine anything else topping it. Unless you've rewatched some sort of wrestling thing.
I don't think I have. So I feel like that should go straight to number one.
Yeah. You're not going to watch No, Killers won't come to Apple TV before the end of the year. So.
I don't know. It might, but I'll rewatch it if it does. So yeah.
They'll be neck and neck.
They'll be neck and neck, yeah.
All right. I finished watching part 1 of season 2 of Invincible. Yeah, it's good. You know, more Invincible. It's been interesting to see some of the criticism, like in the wake of like some people have said there's a drop in animation. I don't think there necessarily has been. Like, I feel like there's been some stylistic choices that give the impression that there's lesser animation. Like in that 4th episode, there's a lot of still frames in that kind of thing. But I feel like that's a homage to the actual fight that took place in the comic books. So, and that kind of stuff. And then a lot of people actually being very angry that there's only 4 episodes. Like, it's been 3 years since we got the first season. How come you're only releasing the 4 episodes? Bullshit. These animators need to be working overtime and stuff like that. It's like very weird. But you know, as a season, it's interesting because I feel like, from my memory of the comic books, like they've jumped like a reasonably far section forward, and that's probably because they do want to include Omni-Man in this 2nd season of the show, where I feel like in the comics he kind of disappeared for a while, or it's like for several arcs. So, and yeah, it definitely feels like it is setting up, or very much an introductory segment to where this season potentially is building to. So, but yeah, it's gruesome. There's a lot of cool fights. Rip Alan the Alien, maybe, and that kind of stuff. But man, there is some gruesome stuff in this. So I'm excited for whenever part 2 of Invincible season 2 comes out.
Early next year, they said so.
We'll see. Take your time. I'm in no rush. I also watched the first episode of a TV show called Scavenger Reign. So this is an animated show that had debuted on HBO Max. It's on Binge here in Australia. It's animated. It's apparently just a miniseries, but it's follows a bunch of the survivors of a damaged interstellar cargo ship called Demeter 2227, who become stranded on this alien planet, and it is fucking wild. Just these people. It takes place, like, I assume they've been on this planet for a while, stranded, and they've kind of had to adapt to the alien wildlife that's on this planet. And they've kind of had to figure out how they can use these aliens for their own benefit. Like there's certain aliens that they can like. The show opens up with one alien, or like one of the people getting kind of consumed by an alien, but inside the alien is like or the alien creature. There's like inside their body, like I don't know, some sort of light source that they're able to pull out of the alien and then use as a light source at night to like get light and shit. It is interesting just because there's a lot of creativity in these aliens, a lot of interesting designs and animation and that kind of stuff. Yeah, like I said, one episode in, but I'm definitely keen to check out the rest of the episodes because it is just a kind of like a weird fever dream to a certain extent. Yeah, so it's 12 episodes. It's got a very interesting art style. So yeah, I would recommend checking that out. Then I watched the Christmas movie Your Christmas or Mine. So you mentioned off air, the Dylan, that there's the second one has been announced. So we might be checking that out over on A Very Explosion Over Christmas. But this is a romantic comedy starring Asa Butterfield and Cora Kirk, who are a young college couple who are going home to their families for Christmas on the train in England. And they both decide at the last second they're going to surprise their significant other by going to their family home for Christmas. But, you know, they both do it, so nobody's at their actual home for Christmas. She loses her phone. She leaves it on the train, so now she can't call anybody. So yeah, they have to spend their families with their significant others' families, but it turns out they're both keeping a bunch of secrets from each other. There's certain things they haven't told each other about each other that, you know, they have to either keep secret from the other family or are learning about them as the day or so goes past before Christmas. So, yeah, it's a fun time. I mean, it's not going to win any awards or anything, but it's a very enjoyable Christmas movie, a very enjoyable romantic comedy. Really strong cast. Asa Butterfield and Corey Kirk are really cute and really enjoyable to see together. And then, you know, there's yeah, all the family members are really good. So I recommend checking it out. And this is maybe interested in seeing the second one, even though, you know, I don't know. I don't think it will be as good as this one, but, you know, it looks like a good time. So I recommend checking out Your Christmas or Mine this Christmas season. Let's move into the mandatory Netflix segment of the show. And I finished watching Blue Eye Samurai. So this is the animated show that's on Netflix that follows a samurai whose father was a white man, which is frowned upon at the time in Japan. So they seek revenge on all the 4 white men who were living in Japan at the time of her birth. So he's hunting them down to kill them. Yeah, just fantastic animation, fantastic fight scenes, just really good storytelling, a really great cast of characters kind of fleshed out over the course of the season. And just, yeah, I would highly recommend it. It's kind of a must watch. It is one of the best shows of the year, I think. And episode 5 might be one of my favorite episodes of the year. So it's
we already voted.
Well, you know, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that after this episode. You know, yeah, it is just a fantastically. It's beautifully animated. The actual fight choreography is actually they got actual stunt people to like do the stunts and choreograph the fights, and then they kind of use that as specifically reference to animate the show. So it's all very realistic and that kind of stuff, and it definitely leaves itself off an interesting point for a second season, which I'm hopeful for because man, it is a great show. So highly recommend going out, watch Blue Eyed Samurai on Netflix. Only the 8 episodes. They are like full episode length though, so yeah, must watch. If you like samurai stuff, if you like revenge stories, if you like good stories, check out Blue Eyed Samurai. And that's kind of it for this week's What's Our Watch History. That's probably one of our shortest sessions because Dylan has watched nothing because of work and earaches and life. So let's move into film news. And man, there's only one big story this week. Melissa Barrera is no longer part of the Scream franchise. A report that the horror franchise requel actress has been quietly let go from the upcoming Scream 7 originally appeared in the print edition of Variety. Barrera's exit is believed to be due to her social media support of Palestine amid the Israel-Hamas conflict. Spyglass, the production company of Scream 7, then came out and confirmed the firing, with Spyglass clarifying that Melissa Barrera was let go from the project because of social media comments were read as anti-Semitic. In a statement, they said Spyglass' stance is unequivocally clear. We have zero tolerance for anti-Semitism, all the incitement of hate in any form, including false references to genocide, ethnic cleansing, Holocaust distortion, or anything flagrantly crosses the line into hate speech, the statement read. And then the internet very much turned on Spyglass. Everybody very much finding any of her comments not to be anti-Semitic in any way. Mostly because a lot of people agree that a lot of the stuff happening in that conflict at the moment could potentially be considered a genocide or ethnic cleansing, or just generally there are two sides to this story. Coincidentally, the next day it was revealed Jordana Ortega has dropped out of the filming of Scream 7. Some reports have been that it's because of Wednesday scheduling that she's unable to fulfill her duties. But it's a bit coincidental. Also, there is no current dates for Scream 7, although it is set to be released in 2025. So it's kind of weird that she said she can't work those days if there's no script, there's no dates. So a lot of people have been reading into that. And then it's been revealed that, unsurprisingly, that Scream 7 is set to undergo a creative reset. The saga surrounding the making of the next Scream film just keeps on taking new twists and turns in real time, it seems. In the wake of the reported exits of Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega from the film over the past day, Variety is now reporting that the whole project is set to undergo a creative reset. James Vanderbilt and Guy Busick, the writers of the previous two installments which starred the actress's sister Sam and Tara Carpenter, will now work on a fresh draft to present to filmmakers. Though some set pieces may be preserved, the project is now seeking new protagonists. Original Scream leading lady Neve Campbell opted not to return for this year's Scream 6 over a salary dispute, but the trade says producers are reportedly keen to see her claim her character of Sidney Prescott. Dylan, what are your thoughts on all this stuff, and is Scream dead as a franchise?
Oh yeah, it's crazy. They had a good run. The franchise ended at Scream 7. It's probably for the best. 7 movies. It's a time. It's a good run, I think.
And it is a good run, and
and they were all good,
they're all not terrible.
Yeah.
Which I don't think any other franchise can really say.
Yeah. So I think it's fine. Just end it now.
Yeah. Any other? Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I don't know how deep down the rabbit hole you go. Obviously, Melissa Barrera, I agree with everything she said. I don't think she said anything wrong. I think the apparent post where they're saying that's like promoting what's their word? They're like saying it's like anti-Semitism.
Yeah.
I completely disagree. I think that the leaving, I think that Jenna Ortega magically leaving because of conflicts when there's not even a script is obviously a huge lie and load of bullshit. She has left. That's just PR spin. She's left in solidarity. And yeah, the franchise is dead. I feel bad for the director because I actually like him.
Yeah, I feel bad for the director. He didn't exactly help himself by saying,
"No,
please don't shout at me."
Yeah, I
it wasn't my choice.
I don't think it helps him, but I get it. Like I get it.
I get it.
You
could have worded it better, though.
Yeah, he fucked up, but like I'm not holding it against him.
No, but also he could drop out until later as well. But whatever.
Yeah.
I'm sure
I just hope everyone. I hope everyone drops out now. I hope everyone drops out. End of the franchise. Done.
Or they just.
Or they fire the people that made these decisions and bring them all back and put out a statement saying they're very sorry, and that the alternative, and they donate a bunch of money to support for Palestine, aren't they?
Yeah. I mean, it's again, I don't know how deep we want to go down the rabbit hole, but there has been a lot of movement this week against people who have been pro-Palestine. Susan Sarandon got dropped by her agency. one of the big agents at Tom Cruise's
Yeah, that was a wild story.
firm was demoted and only got her job saved by Tom Cruise coming out and
Yeah, good guy Tom
coming
Cruise finally
specifically to the office and like defending her.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's kind of wild when it's interesting because I feel like there is, again, don't want to get overly political, but there is definitely a split between the two sides, and it feels like a lot of online people or younger people are definitely on the side of what's going on with what Israel is doing is fucked up and should be talked about a lot. And then there's a lot of people who are clearly Zionists and all very, or are of the opinion Israel is completely justified in their actions. And
I mean,
anyone who says otherwise is anti-Semitic.
It's wild when you got those videos. Like everyone keeps calling out Noah, whatever his name is from Stranger Things. So
No snap.
like Noah Snap posting videos like pictures, stickers, Zionism is cool or whatever. I don't know, hot
Sexy.
or sexy, you know. So, you know, fuck that guy. And it's gonna make hard to watch the last season of Stranger Things, to be honest. But you know, like no repercussions for stuff like that, no repercussions for a lot of anyone who's like proudly supporting like anyone dying in Palestine's copying no shit, and then anyone who's like, well, maybe like the civilians in Palestine probably don't deserve to die, they're like, well, fuck you, you're fired. Like it's just like it is what. And yeah, I mean, I don't think it's conspiracy theory to say stuff like this, but it's very obvious. Like in America, which is, you know, heavily tied into Hollywood, very much tied into Israel. You can go through history and like see how like there's documentaries. I've added a few to my queue. I found a few on Doc Play that were really good. I quickly googled to see if any of them were actually good or shit, and I added a few to my watch about Israel, Palestine, America, like how all that, and a lot of this stuff, like I know the general gist, but I'm keen to watch more. But like it's not even, this is one of those things where people start like putting the tinfoil hats on. Like it is, Hollywood and America are heavily tied into one direction of history in this direction, and like keeping a narrative in place. And if you speak against said narrative, you are the bad guy. And you can look at even the media headlines. I mean, there was even that BBC headline the other day, like, not to go, you've started this rabbit hole, so now I'm going down. But like there was that BBC headline I saw the other day where it's like someone in an interview said, like, you know, they in the interview said the word Palestine in something, and then in the BBC article they changed it to Hamas, because apparently there is absolutely no difference between the two. Because if you say if you support Palestine, you must support Hamas, which is just blatantly not a true statement at all.
Yeah, I think they like completely mistranslated what somebody said, like, and someone came out and like did a complete different translation.
Yeah,
and what they said appeared to have said is completely different. And I mean, there's been a ton of like propaganda stuff. Like,
the propaganda on this is not. This is one of those times in history where I'm like, the propaganda is real and it's not.
It's not very good.
It's not good either. Is the thing. Do you see that Fox News one with the dude putting his pants back on?
That is crazy.
It's crazy, but it's like so bad because you like laugh and go, "Fuck, this is terrible." But
how is anybody believing this?
It's
and then there's
working.
Believing it. Yeah, it's yeah.
So yeah, look, any celebrity who cops any shit and stands up for this sort of stuff, I think is automatically going to move up my personal radar of people I think have a fucking backbone. Yeah, and anyone who fires them and does stuff like
fuck them.
Fuck them basically. So
yeah, rest in peace, Scream franchise.
Rest in peace, Scream.
You wouldn't? Do you think Neve Campbell comes on board if they're trying to?
I don't know. I don't know what her personal. She's never like.
If they threw a bunch of money at.
I don't know. I don't know why. I know the reason she didn't do it was because of money. I'm not saying that in a bad way. Like, she deserves the money.
No,
but,
yeah.
I don't know. I feel like at this stage, but also seeing two women leave, like, I don't know. I don't know her enough to. I don't know her personally enough to know like where her. Yeah.
Could the Scream franchise big enough to survive another reboot? I guess.
Oh, it is. Yeah. I think it is. Hold on. I think it is big enough to survive a reboot. I don't know if it's big enough to survive a reboot following this. Is the thing. Jenna Ortega is fucking huge now.
Yeah.
So, and she's out here being quiet, I think, because her PR managers and shit have said not to say anything. But she's out here still liking these Melissa Barrera Instagram posts. Like, I don't think it's hard to read between the lines. So, yeah.
I mean, to be fair, it could have been, she could have potentially been unable to do it. Like, she's like, Wednesday shooting is going to be the next year or two. If you want to make it a film by 2025, it's just not possible. And then, the news has been released because they were asking if she was going to drop out. That is possible.
It's possible. I don't believe
it's possible, but,
I'm choosing not to believe it.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, Scream. It was good. Good one. Yeah. I think they could I think you're right. Like, they could reboot. Who knows what the landscape's going to look like in 2 years? Maybe everybody forgets and forgives.
Yeah, that's the thing. We know
that. And it would have to be a very good movie, I think. That's the other key thing. It would actually have to be.
I just don't know, because I also feel like Jenna Ortega's like, unless she fucks up majorly, I feel like her star power is only going to rise. And if this movie comes out in 2 years and her star power continues to rise, then it's going to be that whole thing of like, well, what happened to her?
Yeah, for the layman who was not following the news.
Yeah, for the people not following, there's always going to be that question of like it loses power. Like if it's like when you look at any horror movie sequel where like the person who got to be a big star suddenly isn't in the sequel, you're like, ooh, this is like a straight to DVD version now. Like we don't have the big star anymore.
Yeah. All right. Dylan, did you love Ahsoka?
No.
Too bad, because now it turns out longtime Star Wars universe creator, storyteller Dave Filoni has announced he will be the new chief creative officer of Lucasfilm. The Ahsoka showrunner and Mandalorian producer told Vanity Fair that his new role will be central to the narrative arcs within the overall franchise. Filoni will work directly with Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy, who will continue to oversee the company. Filoni will collaborate alongside head of development executive Carrie Beck, who is tasked with recruiting other storytellers into the Star Wars franchise to helm new stories and films. Filoni said, "Now that I'm what's called Chief Creative Officer of Lucasfilm. In the past, in a lot of projects, I would be brought into it. I would see it after it had already been developed in good ways. In this new role, it's open up to basically everything that's going on. When we're planning the future of what we're doing, I'm involved at the inception phase." Dylan, how's this news make you feel?
I got mixed feelings because the thing is, like, I had a lot of love for Dave Filoni, but in the past few years, obviously, I just feel like everything he's got his hand in Star Wars is weirdly the stuff I no longer like, and all his animated work and stuff, obviously, really, really like, and I think a lot of the anime shows had such big ideas, and I like fully respect him as the person who's carrying the George Lucas torch still throughout Star Wars and Lucasfilm now. Like he is George Lucas's protege. Like he represents that, and he carries forth a lot of that same energy of what George would have wanted in Star Wars. But yeah, when I'm looking at Ahsoka, that whole verse, the Mando verse, that's my least interesting stuff that have happened in Star Wars in years. So can I get excited about him being in charge when the best Star Wars things since the Disney takeover have been, like Andor, Rogue One, and The Last Jedi? I don't know. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, good for him. He seems like a good dude. So congrats on the promotion. But yeah, I think, like you said, like the best things that have come out. Well, the best thing that's come out of this era of Star Wars has been Andor, which is the one thing he's been completely hands off. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't exactly bode well, but I'm hopeful. I guess it comes down to the choice of what kind of stories they're choosing to tell, and like who they're getting creatively involved as well. Yeah, and I mean, while we might not have enjoyed Ahsoka or loved Ahsoka, like a lot of people did. A lot of people are still very good, enjoy The Mandalorian. So, like, I feel like this is a move because a lot of the general audience still enjoys Dave Filoni's storytelling. So I guess we'll have to wait and see how this all pans out. And I guess we will be getting more Star Wars content in the future if they're lining up a chief creative officer to like help bring more projects forward. So interesting. I wonder how that affects him working on his own film as well, because obviously he's making the eventual tie-in of all these things as well. So I guess we'll wait and see. Yeah, that's kind of it for the news. But I tell you what, this week, like most weeks, there was a bunch of casting and film announcement news. There's just too much to cover. So we like to cover this kind of stuff in a segment we like to call "Would You Want to Invest?", in which I give Dylan a project that has some new news about it. He tells me if he would like to fully invest, partially invest, or not invest in them, and then history will be the judge if he is right or wrong. So yeah,
You said it correct this week. Yeah, good job.
Yeah.
Good
Crazy.
job.
2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
They'll just wait until that actor strike was over before announcing everything. All right, kick things off. Michael Sheen and Ruth Wilson are leading the cast of A Very Royal Scandal, Prime Video's upcoming limited series about Prince Andrew's disastrous interview with Newsnight's Emily Maltalis, in which he explained his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. The series is currently in production in the UK. According to the description, the 3-part limited series written by Jeremy Brock will follow Emily Matlis's professional and personal journey as a Newsnight journalist, leading up to her acclaimed issue with Prince Andrew, played by Michael Sheen.
Full invest. That sounds like it's bound for success.
Okay. 4-time Oscar nominee Ed Harris, Lewis Pullman, Miles J. Harvey, and Pete Davidson have joined Emmy winner Jennifer Coolidge, Oscar winner Dustin Hoffman, and Gabriel Union in director Dito Montiel's crime comedy movie Riff Raff, which has begun filming in New Jersey. The film centers on a former criminal whose ordinary life is thrown upside down when his family shows up for a long-awaited reckoning.
That was a nothing description, so
It was.
I'm not investing at all.
Okay. Yeah, it's always disappointing when there's very little. After taking his time finding his next big role after winning his Best Actor Oscar, Brendan Fraser has zeroed in on that role. As sources tell Deadline, he's set to star in Searchlight's Rental Family. Beef Helmer Hikari will direct from a script she wrote with Stephen Blayhut. Hikari has been developing the project since 2019 and will produce alongside Shin Yamaguchi, as well as Eddie Weissman and Julia Lebedev of Sight Unseen Productions. The story follows a down-and-out actor living in Tokyo. He's hired as a token American guy for a Japanese rental family company, lending him on an unexpected journey of self-discovery through the roles he plays in other people's lives.
What the fuck? Partial invest. I don't know. Is that too weird to be successful?
Probably.
Yeah.
Tasha Howe has reportedly been set as a screenwriter of the upcoming live-action film adaptation of Masashi Kishimoto's Naruto manga and anime franchise, reports Variety. Howe penned the upcoming Red Sonja film and is the showrunner of the Netflix and legendary Tomb Raider animated series. Both projects expected to arrive on screen next year.
I will go fully invest on this one. I feel like that could be huge if done right. So
if done right,
if
live
done
action
right,
feature film. That's interesting.
Yeah. So I'll go full invest.
All right. After a period of speculation prolonged by the double strike, A24 has officially confirmed the cast for its erotic thriller Baby Girl, marking a reteam with Bodies Helmer, Helena Rain, Nicole Kidman, Antonio Banderas, and Harris Dickinson lead an ensemble that will also include Talk to Me, Sophie Wilde, and Jean Reno. In the film, written and directed by Rain, a successful CEO begins an illicit affair with her much younger intern.
Yeah, full invest. Can't wait.
Okay.
I'm going to rewatch Bodies now. I've actually been really wanting to, but I keep every time I go. When I went into JB the last couple of weeks, I kept looking for it to buy. I'm gonna look it up now if I can while you continue. But I swear it only got a DVD release in Australia. I don't want that shit on
That
DVD.
wouldn't
I
surprise
want it,
me.
yeah, which is fucking shit. Like I understand, like I buy some stuff on DVD and I can accept it, like depending on what it is. But like this is a movie came out last year. Like I always want a Blu-ray. Fuck me.
Yeah, let me have it on good quality, I guess.
You haven't watched that movie, have you? Because it's a horror movie.
Yeah, I watched Bodies.
Did you? I can't
It's
remember.
a comedy.
Yeah, I was about to say it's a comedy, so it's fucking funny. I love it. It's good shit.
Yeah. Prime Video has ordered the coming-of-age ensemble drama Motorheads from writer showrunner John A. Norris and executive producer Jason Seagraves. Ryan Phillippe, Natalie Kelly, Michael Cimino, and Melissa Colazzo have been set as series regulars. Motorheads is about first love, first heartbreak, and turning the key in your very first car. Set in a once thriving Rust Belt town that's now searching for a glimmer of hope, the series is an adrenaline-filled story of a group of outsiders who form an unlikely friendship over a mutual love of automobiles. And while some characters will be navigating the hierarchy and rules of high school, others will be racing from a dark past.
Yeah. Full invest.
Throw money.
Yeah, why not? You've picked some decent ones this week.
Teresa Palmer, Miranda Richardson, and Danielle McDonald, and a host of other names have joined Nicole Kidman's light-hearted Australian drama series, The Last Anniversary. The Foxtel drama from Aussie streamer Binge has gone into production in Sydney. Based on Liam Moriarty's best-selling novel, The Last Anniversary is billed as a wickedly funny, heartfelt dramedy wrapped in a gripping mystery about family, motherhood, and the women who define generations that come after them. Set on the mysterious Gribbly Gum Island, where a young couple disappeared decades before, it follows Sophie Honeywell. She moves there after inheriting a house left to her by her ex-boyfriend's great aunt Connie, who promises that Sophie could finally meet the man of her dreams. She receives an unwelcome reception on arrival, but finds that what she may actually need is an island full of women.
I know what. Does that not sound like half of that description sound like what was that movie we watched like for What Do You Want to Watch last year that was really good about like generational women and stuff? The family.
20th Century Women?
Yeah, that description just sounded like that, but like sound on an island.
Maybe.
So partial invest.
All right. Last one. Whoa, Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio have never before appeared together on screen. Even as they led films in different corners of the Karate Kid universe, they're getting the opportunity now via a feature installment in Sony's hugely popular martial arts saga. Macchio will reprise his role as Daniel LaRusso, the karate champion molded by Pat Morita's Mr. Miyagi, with Chan as Mr. Han, the kung fu master who helped Jaden Smith bend bullies in Sony's 2010 Karate Kid remake. Details as to the plot of the film under wraps, though sources say it will mark a continuation of the mythology of the original franchise. Jonathan Estwistle is directing the as yet unnamed film from a script by Rob Leiber, with Catherine Rosenfeld producing. The pic slated for the release by Sony Pictures on December 13th, 2024.
Nope.
What a wild announcement.
I can't believe they like have this huge success with the TV show and now they're doing that. Like, what a fucking...
Yeah, they got to.
Like, they're like, everyone loves this. Let's do this. Like,
yeah, let's make a feature film with Jackie Chan while he still can.
Who cares? Fuck that. No, it sounds terrible.
All right. Let's move into giving some thumbs to trailers. Of course, you can find all the trailers we're about to talk about in the show notes below. Kicking things off with The Converts, directed by Lee Tamahori, Guy Pearce, T. Kohei Tahaka, Tirihiri Nagata Melbourne, Antonio T. Mahora, Jacqueline McKenzie, Lawrence Makaora, and Dean O'Gorman. Apologies for any mispronunciation there.
As in all of them.
As in everybody except Guy Pearce. A lay preacher, Thomas Munro, at a British settlement gets caught in a bloody war between Maori tribes in 1830s New Zealand. Tell them, what did you think of the trailer for The Convert?
Double thumbs up. Looks really cool. Definitely like section of history and a location and everything that I don't feel like has been covered enough in film and stuff, or at least nothing that I've seen. So keen to see some more. Keen to see some more representation for that. And all the performances looked really good. Locations, everything like that. Yeah. So double thumbs up.
Yeah, I'll give it 2 thumbs up as well. It like looks very good cinematically. Guy Pearce looks really fantastic, and obviously all the native Maori actors look like they're doing a really good job. Have you ever watched Once Were Warriors?
Yep.
Did you enjoy that?
Yep.
So, same sort of thing.
No. Once Were Warriors is set during like the 80s.
Okay, well, yeah. I guess it's a different age. No,
Once We're Warriors is like about a like it's about I don't know how to. It's been years since I watched it, but that film I could rewatch it now. Actually, yeah, maybe I'll watch that. Well, we should watch that soon.
So,
Come up with a reason to watch that. History of Maori, but that's like that film's like set during modern day and like represents, at least to me, of how I took it, is supposed to represent how like the like the more modernization of the culture and like the sort of very masculine energy from the I don't know, like there's a lot of ideas in that film. It's it's really good. I just haven't watched it like for like 10 years, I don't think.
yeah, I don't know. I always thought that was like set in this time period. So,
Nope.
very wrong. Or maybe it's another film with a similar name. So this is releasing in Australia on the 25th of April, 2024. I'm suspecting it's releasing in New Zealand sooner. So,
That makes sense.
I have to wait for that one. Next trailer is for Santa Isn't Real, directed by Zach Locke, starring Scarlett Spiduto, Dana Milliken, and Kaya Coleman. After suffering a brutal attack on Christmas Eve, a young woman, Nikki, struggles to convince her friends that the assailant was old Kris Kringle. When Santa returns to terrorize the group, Nikki and her friends must fight to stay alive. Dylan, does this tickle your horror Christmas movie?
Just looks like a Christmas slasher, so yeah, I'll go 1 up, 1 down. It didn't look bad, didn't look great. Looked like it could be at least a fun slasher.
Yeah, I mean, this is also 1 up, 1 down from me. I think it definitely looks like a B grade horror movie, but with Santa.
Like the performances didn't look bad, like the overall production didn't look bad. Like there was just nothing like standout-ish. You know what I mean? It was just
I mean, yeah. It feels like it's gonna work for its audience, you know? It definitely reminds me of Christmas Bloody Christmas that we watched last year. I think it was. The one with the robot Santa.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was fine. And this looks like a similar vein. So yeah, this is releasing on VOD and digital on December 8th in the US. No confirmed Australian release date. The next trailer is for Our Son, directed by Bill Oliver, starring Billy Porter, Luke Evans, Robin Wyatt, Andrew Reynolds, Isaac Cole Powell, and Felicia Rashad. A couple fights over custody of their 8-year-old son after the traumatic breakup of their 13-year marriage. Dylan, what are your thoughts on this trailer?
Yeah, double thumbs up. Looked really good performances. Not a story I could say I've seen covered with like a queer, like
Lens.
you've seen it done with straight relationship, but not like like I've never seen a movie cover a queer relationship with a child in the middle. That's for sure. So, yeah, really looks really good. Double thumbs up.
Yeah, I think it looks really good. I give it 2 thumbs up. There is that one line in there. They're like, "Oh, you fought for so long to fit this marriage, only to end up like in divorce, like all us straight people." That feels very out of place. And very
just like something. Feels like something someone would say.
Yeah, I guess. But they play it more, be a bit more of a joke if somebody said in real life, or a punchline in a comedy special. But yeah, this looks really good. This probably looks like the best thing I've seen Luke Evans in. Like, he looks like he's giving a really good performance in this. And Billy Porter looks really great as well. Yeah, it looks really interesting. So, this is releasing in the US on December the 8th. No Australian release date. Next trailer, Sometimes I Think I'm Dying, directed by Rachel Lambert, starring Daisy Ridley, Dave Mahij, Parvish China, and Marsha DeBoynes. Fran is a socially awkward office worker who spends most of her time in isolation and daydreams of her own death when a new colleague pricks the bubble of her own isolation. Dylan, what did you think of the trailer for Sometimes I Think About Dying?
Double thumbs up for a movie all about depression. I don't know. It was a really good trailer. It looked like very indie, very like sort of odd, Andy Kaufman-ish, but not like super weird, but I don't know, just tonally weird. And Daisy Ridley looks like she's given a fantastic, maybe her best performance in this. So yeah, double thumbs up. Keen to watch it. I love being depressed.
Yeah. I'll give it 2 thumbs up as well. It definitely looks like a morose, like sad movie. Definitely giving vibes, like you said, Charlie Kaufman, like giving vibes of I'm thinking of ending things, but without all the weird shit that's
without all the like weird shit. Yeah,
this one feels like it's a bit more of a straightforward one, but with weird imagery in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's interesting. Like Daisy really playing a very subdued character, like but still looking to be very interesting. So yeah, I'm keen to check this one out, obviously. So this is scheduled to release in the US on the 26th of January. There's currently no Australian release date.
Yep.
Last trailer for this week, Boy Swallow Universe, created by John Colley, starring Simon Baker, Felix Cameron, Zach Burgess, Lee Tiger Haley, Travis Fimmel, and Phoebe Tompkin. In 1980s Brisbane, a precocious boy and his selectively mute brother embark on a suburban odyssey of love, redemption, and retribution after their family is torn apart by a drug lord. Dylan, what are your thoughts on this Australian Netflix series? Australian Netflix series based on a beloved book.
Yeah, I never read the book. I know the author because he's a journalist, right?
Yes.
From
Trent Dalton. Yeah,
that's it. So I know who he is. And I think maybe I probably would have seen that he put out this book and stuff, but just never paid enough attention. But I think that the trailer looks really good. Double thumbs up. Looks like a super interesting story. Keen to know more, like what's the basis and stuff. I don't know. I haven't done my research yet enough, but the trailer is really, really good. I'm keen to watch it early January, whenever it comes out. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, 2 thumbs up for me for this trailer. I think
Brisbane,
Brizzy
represent.
It's crazy. I've drove across that bridge, like they drove the thing across. It's crazy. But yeah, obviously a beloved, like a very popular book. I know it sold very well in Australian audiences, in Australia at least. Like it's been adapted into a stage play that performed here in Brisbane. And that kind of stuff. Like it is very much it's a best-selling book and that kind of stuff. So yeah, it looks fantastic. A really good cast. The kid who's obviously playing the lead is really great in this trailer. Very funny at times, while also kind of obviously being a very dark crime story as well. So yeah, I'm very keen.
Shout out to Paul
the
Kelly
joke.
too.
Yeah. Anthony Napoleon shows up for a bit here as well. Crazy seeing him with like stark white hair. That was like threw me for a second. But yeah, it looks fantastic. I love the joke at the end. What do you have to go bald before you become a skinhead? Does that come up? Great. So yeah, this is releasing on Netflix on the 11th of January. So yeah, looking forward to that. All right, let's move into this week's top 3.
Definitely in the top 3.
And we're just about to hit December, which we all know is catch-up month, despite a bunch of new stuff also coming out in December. So this week's top 3 is top 3 films you missed that you want to watch before the end of the year. Dylan, what's your number 3?
In the middle with you. Sorry, I got Paul Kelly in my head now. Number 1 is I didn't put them in a fuck no. What order do I didn't put them in order. Yeah, fuck it. This is number 3. Number 3, When Evil Lurks. So this is one of the most talked about horror movies probably the last couple months that I haven't had a chance to watch yet. A lot of people I've seen say it's the best horror movie of the year. So automatically has to be on my list. I need to watch. Where's the synopsis? Because I don't know much about it. In a remote village, two brothers find a demon-infected man just about to give birth to evil itself. They decide to get rid of the body, only to end up unintentionally spreading chaos. It's a Spanish film, I think. Maybe I can't find an answer fast enough. Anyway, yeah. I've seen a lot of good stuff about it. I think it's on Shudder now, I believe. So, yes, that one.
All right. My number 3 is You Hurt My Feelings, Nicole Holofcener movie starring Julia Dreyfus. That was released earlier this year, a 24 movie. Everywhere I've seen, people regard it as one of the top films of the year. Great comedy drama. So definitely need to watch that because it seems like it'll be my type of vibe. Dylan, what's your number 2?
Number 2, I think I had this on my list of similar lists we did last time. We did this similar list.
Halfway through the year.
Halfway through the year. How to Blow Up Pipeline. So I still haven't watched that. A crew of environmental activists plot a daring plan to disrupt an oil pipeline. I will be watching it before we do any sort of voting, though, because I've been keen for it for a while. I can rent it now, is my understanding. It's
yes,
it's old $6.99 rental, but I'll get onto that.
My number 2 is Blackberry, the story of how Blackberry became a thing, starring Jay Baruchel and Glenn Howerton. Looks fantastic. Definitely, I wanted to go see it in cinemas, just timing didn't work out. So I will have to watch it at home. I believe also a rental. Weirdly, it's also being adapted into a 3-part miniseries on the AMC. So
it's got more content on it, apparently.
More content. So yeah. I don't know. Do I wait and watch that, or do I watch it? It
depends. Do you want to watch it? Vote for it from? Well, actually, you can't vote for TV series for awards. Anymore,
we've already voted on that. So
maybe you should watch the movie. Yeah,
watch the movie because
it's relevant then.
So yeah, Blackberry. Keen to check that out. Dylan, what is your number 1?
My number 1 is Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, which was a film we talked about right at the start of the year when this trailer came out and was like, apparently a beloved book, never heard of it, but in America, apparently it's really good. And then ever since then, I've seen everyone say it's got some of the best performances of the year. I've seen it show up on a bunch of people's lists of like movies that they wish more people were talking about, like most underrated, like movies and stuff like that. Everyone says that Rachel McAdams has a fantastic performance in it. So I'm keen to watch that again. I think it recently, as of last week, I saw it pop up as a rental finally. So it seemed to have been taking forever to be available in Australia, but now that I know it is available, I decided to put it as the number 1 pick on this list.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I thought I checked last night whether it was on a rental or not, but apparently now it is.
I checked. I think I was just scrolling through like a night or two ago and saw it pop up there, and I was like, oh, okay, well there you go. I'll add that to my list.
My number 1 is Rye Lane, which is a movie that I keep seeing popped up as one of the best movies of the year. A British romantic comedy about 2 young people who are just dealing with their own separate brutal breakups in South London and kind of connect over a 1-day period. It's one that I've seen like pop up on like people have been throughout the year been posting like, what's your top 8 movies of the year so far and that kind of stuff. And I see that poster because it's hard to miss because it's very orange. Show up on a bunch of people's lists. So that's definitely one I'll check out because it is on Disney Plus, so it's super easy to get access to. It's been on the list for a while, so I'll be hoping to check that out before the end of the year because again, it seems like it'll probably be my kind of movie. So yeah. Dylan, this week, what do you want to watch?
Before I tell you that, I just want to fill everyone in from something from about 15, 20 minutes ago in the podcast. Bodies was only released in DVD in Australia. However, I just purchased a Blu-ray from the UK.
Just then?
Just then. I just paid
while we're recording things?
Yeah.
Seems about right.
Yeah. Just purchased it. I had to do it for the bit. I didn't want to be a lie. I don't want to say it and lie. I only want to say truth. So confirmation, paid $19.74. Free postage via eBay is where I managed to find that. So Thank you. Thank you for coming along for that journey, everyone. This week I would like to watch Bottoms is my movie pick. That is out in cinemas this week. I don't know if I can or will be able to watch it, but that would be my pick. And TV show, I don't think I know if I care. Do I care about anything? I don't think I do. No, I don't think I do. I'm just going to skip TV this week. Oh, hold on. I always forget to look at Sundays. What's on Sunday? Doctor Who. Doctor Who's my pick again. Yeah, well, Doctor Who wasn't my pick last week, but you reminded me. So Doctor Who. New special this week. There's my pick.
Wow. All right. My pick would also be Bottoms. I'm keen to check that in cinemas. But I'll use the opportunity to shout out American Symphony, which is an upcoming documentary on Netflix. It should be out probably day of release. That follows the musician John Baptiste, the year of his life from dealing with his wife getting cancer, returning. But also, this is the year where he went on to win the Grammy for Album of the Year, like against all odds. So yeah, apparently fantastic documentary. Some consider it to be the front runner for best documentary of the year. So definitely keen to check that out on Netflix. Then on the TV front, as much I would say Slow Horses season 3, but because it isn't a good starting point for people, I want to check out the Artful Dodger that's coming on Disney Plus, which I feel like they're pushing super hard.
They have
every time I open the app, it's on the jump up screen. They're sending a bunch of notifications saying it's coming.
To Australians only, I feel. They're like,
to
you're
Australians,
Australian? Yeah. You love shit about convicts, right? Oi, oi.
Like Australians, you want Australian content? Here, watch it. So yeah, I will be watching at least the first episode of Artful Dodger this week. All right, let's know what you want to watch this week, or what are your top 3 movies that you still need to watch before the end of the year. Let us know by going to explosion.com/Twitter or jump into our Discord at explosion.com/Discord. If you want to help us out here at What Do You Want to Watch, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts and Podchaser, leave us 5 stars, and you can leave 5 stars, or just tell people about the show. And if you've enjoyed this episode, thought it was $1, head over to our Ko-fi page at explosion.com/support to help Dylan buy more Blu-rays from overseas.
Worth it.
Thank you very much for listening. Until next time, keep watching stuff, I guess.
I feel like me and Buddy need to start a new podcast about DVD and Blu-ray collections. Maybe that should be the pitch.
Yeah.
Don't know what you'll talk about, but like we've just
it's just an hour of you bitching about things not being on Blu-ray in Australia.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. We'll workshop it.